Hey Dunn family, this is Andrew Bradley. Thanks for your patience. I'm going to break this down into three analysis. It's basically a analysis of the house as it sits and what I can sell it for. I'm going to do an ROI analysis, and then I'm going to look at the Gallatin property. So after the first two analysis, I will put those into, finalize what it looks like to sell the Goodlettsville property. And then after that, I'll go into the others. So if you'll bear with me, I'll give this to you in three parts. But what I've figured out in trying to do this is that I just can't fit it all in one presentation. So hang in there. It's long. I got a lot of time in this. I think it'll be worth it. Thanks. All right, guys. This is our subject property. As you can see, 207 Green Acres Court. That's the address right here. We have it listed at 1,775 square feet. If you know of some reason that might be wrong, let me know. If there's an addition done you haven't been taxed for, I can come back out and measure that. It doesn't include at this point any sort of basement square footage. It has it all on one level. Nothing in the basement will count as square footage because it's not finished and heated and cooled. That's okay. You don't usually get a good return on finishing basement square footage anyway. But this 1,775 number is going to become our multiplier as we work on our price per square foot. So we'll look at some of these other ones. Now this one, I wanted to show you this so I could show you, so I could show you how I map these listings. But this is not going to make or break. Hang on. Keep zooming in. This isn't going to make or break the analysis because this is not where I actually crunch the numbers. But this is what they actually call the what do they call the neighborhood? I forgot already. The Pleasant Hill. I'm sorry, the Pleasant Hill neighborhood. And so you'll see that's kind of right here, but it doesn't get all the houses between Dickerson Pike, like right over here, and down to Old Hickory Boulevard. So because those are the sales that you're seeing here. These are the sales over 2 years. That's way too large of a period to establish any comparable sales. So we're going to spread that map out. But if we look down at our comparable sales, or our sales within the neighborhood, this program right here doesn't calculate the square footage price for me. So I'll run over them with my cursor, and as I do, I'll tell you what they are. This one right here sold for $68 a square foot. $63 a square foot, $80 a square foot, $57 a square foot, $73 a square foot. This one sold for $100 a square foot. A lot of that's because of the smaller size, and most of that's because of the condition. 68, 73, and 82. Now don't worry about those numbers because we're going to go over them again when we look at things a little closer. All right, so here's where we're going to get into more specifically the area. Now I have this list is actually a little older than it needs to be, but we're going to go with it because it's that or pull comps further away that you're in a kind of solid neighborhood over there. But if I go to the other side of Gallatin Pike, I used to own a house over there on Anderson Lane, or if I go on the other side of Dickerson Pike, it's not so good. So that means that I can't promise the appraisers are going to not go across those roads in order to get a more recent comp. But my philosophy is that we're not selling to appraisers, we're selling to individuals. If they see the value in this, then we'll let the appraiser figure that out. So I say that to say we now have 3 points of negotiation. We have the sale price, the repairs, or anything that goes along with the repairs and the inspections, and then we have the appraisal. If the appraisal comes back low, we have to come back to the table, which is why we are going to scrutinize the offers really strongly to see if we can get the best loan-to-value ratio and the best type of loan. So I'm going to scroll through these, and then we're going to go back and look at them individually. Now these are active homes. What's important and most people just do these right here, these closed listings, but and that is the end of the day. That's the hard numbers. That's what really matters. But we're going to start with the active listings. This one's a little easier. As I hover over, you'll see what it sold for. This is a very small house. I considered it like enough that I included it, but it sold for $121 a square foot. The rule of inversion says smaller houses sell for more. 94 Okay, I'm sorry. I should have mentioned if it's in yellow, that means it has a contract. In Davidson County, things are selling within about 2 to 4% of list. That includes seller participation, where you cover part of their closing costs. So you can see that at 121, they actually got it under contract. 94 square foot, 91 square foot. This one's not under contract at 117, not under contract at 115. Under contract 105, 63. This is actually more common with the larger, older houses, but this one is also really big. I think that one turned out to be a split level, but we'll go over that in a second when I start clicking on the photos. So 102 a square foot. Now that's just speculation. We don't know what those houses really sold for. Here's what we do know. That's the list price. Here's the sales price. On the houses that are most like yours that I've already narrowed down, you're looking at $91 a square foot, 63, 110, that one was nice, 78, 64, 98, and 79. So what you'll see is that what people want to get is, it's different from what people actually settle at. The other numbers that I think are telling are with the withdrawn listings. This is what people tried to sell for but weren't able to. Again, a lot of this has to do with condition, but 109, 91, 75, and 76. So that's where we are now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to break out these closed ones, and we're going to look at our raw hard data. All right, so I've ordered these in terms of overall sales price. For our purposes, it's more important where we fall in square footage. Just so you know, this can never be a comp. They're just too far. An appraiser won't stretch the price. The square footage that much. Our better comps, if we reorder these again, are going to be between here, here. All of these, even that one is doable. They'll stretch 500 square feet. That one again is a little small, but that'll help us a little bit. So right now we'll look at this one at 91 a square foot, and we're going to look at it one at a time. This sold for 91 a square foot. As you can tell, it's really sharp, looks really good. It doesn't have the estately appearance that you guys have. Looking at it, it's on a little over half an acre, about the same as you. But that's our 91 a square foot. It looks pretty sharp. Okay, right here we got 110 a square foot. This is even a better comp in terms of size and the outside finishes. I'd love to see us get this. You can tell that still lots of updates needed. It's on about an acre, and it does have the actual Pleasant Hill address, which is, subdivision name, which is good because that's just an area that seems to have been pretty much untouched in terms of the softness of the market. Not that it hasn't hurt its value, but it hasn't gone rough and then had to get nice again. If that makes sense. I'm not saying it clearly. What I mean is it didn't get ghetto, if that's blunt enough. Okay, so here we go. Another one at 78 a square foot. Again, you can see most of this has to do with condition. They tried some kind of super open modern things here. Doesn't really look like a comparable to me. Also has a lot of basement square footage in there. That they're discounted to about half right there. So the price per square foot would be a lot higher. Okay, so we got 98 a square foot, Goodlettsville Heights. All this upstairs square footage counts at full price, but it is kind of weird. You can see how it sits up high like that. Almost like a half a split level kind of thing. But all in all, still could use some updates. You see this here. So I'll tell us a little something. Alright, so now to 63 a square foot. Lots of basement square footage, needs a lot of updates. I'd really say that this would be worst case scenario. 63 a square foot. So let's just keep that in mind. You can see it needs a lot of updates. Probably has beautiful hardwoods under it. I said basement square footage and attic square footage. Knee walls upstairs, but you can't count on people to have a whole lot of vision. Those short knee walls are they're gonna treat those like basement square footage when it comes down to it. All right. 64 square foot. Again, very similar type of house. Lots of updates. Some of them cheaply done. Has the basement square footage again, which I'm not valuing hardly anything on these. Don't think it's going to matter with the space we give down there. We are going to have to clean it out pretty good. Alright, and then $80 a square foot. Okay, so lots of updates on this kitchen, even though I feel like the updates are now old again. Has the granite and whatnot, but still really dark. Wainscoting's never been painted. Lots of things, all kinds of paneling. I like to believe that this is our most similar house in terms of price per square foot that we'd be going for. However, it is 3,600 square feet. Don't know if that's realistic yet. We'll get back to that in a second. Alright, so having kind of looked at everything, cutting out a few, we're going to need 3 comps to justify our price. Now, some of these are older. Like I said, they don't really count as comparable sales for the appraiser, but we are drawing a line in terms of trajectory that these houses in these neighborhoods, even though they're a little, some of them are a little beyond 6 months, still are most like our houses. So what we have here, I'll just refresh your memory real quick, is this one on AG, Phonic, also on Pleasant Hill, in Pleasant Hill, and Goodlettsville Heights. What I'll do is I'm going to do a CMA real quick based on our final 3 contenders. And what you see is that all those crazy outliers kind of disappeared, and we have a pretty consistent array of numbers here. So you've got 91 a square foot, 110 a square foot, 98 a square foot. One thing I like to point out is that this one had the 2-car garage. It's right there in the middle. I really like that 98 a square foot. Now, we are smaller, so inversion says we could probably go a little higher. What I'd like to see us do is land somewhere between these two. I'm talking to you guys the other day. I know if y'all thought anything over 100 a square foot would be quite a deal, but I'm really bullish on the real estate market in general right now. What I need to do is set expectations that if we go for these higher numbers, what we're going to have done to the property, and first of all, and 2, that we're adjustable, that we're not going to wait 3 weeks, 4 weeks for price adjustments, that as soon as the market responds with no offers, no viewings, things like that, that we drastically remember, hey, we had numbers down into the 70s a square foot, and that might be more realistic. So that's the first part of the analysis. Don't worry about those numbers because I'm going to break it down at the end on the second part of the analysis when I do the ROI. So no need to worry about that right now, and just kind of marinate on that for a little bit.